Hey, welcome back. I'm here with Will Worsham and Bruce Porter, and this is Coffee Talk. No, actually, it's not.
Coffee Talk.
They're joining us today. We're going to talk about planning, but we want to get a little more specific. So, kind of fill us in exactly where are we focusing here?
Yeah, sure. You know, we do our seminars every month. We got one coming up in 2 weeks. Still some availability for there. This time and today, we'll introduce the topic, but we're going to specifically talk about planning for blended families.
Okay, more and more of them all the time.
Well, and they have some specific needs that you really have to think about with blended families, because you've got sometimes his, hers, and ours. When you're doing your distribution plan, you want to make sure that everybody gets what you want them to have, but that as much as you can, everybody feels like they're being treated fairly.
Yeah, I mean, you've touched on these before, I know, but what are some of the things that you're going to be focusing on that people don't often consider, you know, when they're making their plans?
Well, first of all, one of the things you have to consider is what happens if one of those children predeceases you. Of course, that's always a concern in estate planning, but even more so in blended families. You have to wonder what's going to happen if one of those kids predeceases. Are we going to split the assets between just that child's siblings or between all of the siblings? You know, the other issue that really comes up in blended families that you have to watch out for is what, you know, after the first spouse passes away, the remaining spouse in a typical estate plan has full control over that trust and can change that estate plan any way they want, so they could actually take the initiative to cut out the stepkids if they wanted to do that.
Does death end irrevocable?
Well, a portion of the estate can become irrevocable.
Irrevocable.
Yeah, I always used to like to say irrevocable too.
Yes.
I've been trying to wean it out of my vocabulary, but I like revocable and irrevocable, but I don't think it's the preferred term.
Okay.
But no, but you can create a trust that becomes irrevocable upon the death of one of the grantors, one of the spouses. It doesn't mean that the remaining spouse doesn't have full access to use those assets, but it does leave some control to make sure that they can't divert those assets away from the children of the deceased grantor. So we can build those types of plans in place. The other thing you have to think of is maybe your family's not blended, but what if your beneficiaries, what if your kids get into a blended family situation? What if, you know, one of their spouses passes away and then your daughter-in-law or son-in-law remarries?
Right.
That's a plan that you have to sometimes think about if you have a concern about that.
Well, this is, I mean, this is a major reason. These are major reasons for speaking with an attorney when you're kind of planning this out, because I mean, it sounds cold-hearted, but you can't go with emotion. You can't think, oh, this is going to be forever. That's what trusts and prenups and things are all about. You have to look at every possibility. What can happen?
Right, and one of the things that really comes up a lot, whether I'm doing estate planning for families or business planning, is, you know what, everybody is more than happy to go down the road and think about, they assume how they want things to happen when things go well. One of the biggest parts of my job is to make you think through what's going to happen if things don't go the way you expect them. What happens if your partnership, your business partnership, doesn't do well? How are we going to handle that situation? What happens, you know, if there is a problem in the family, whether it's with your family or with your kids' families or their spouses? How are we going to handle those situations? We can address all of that through proper planning.
You can't always see it, you know, yourself, but finding that neutral, that other person to go, hey, wait a minute, and let you see these options. That's why it's so important.
Well, and that's where we really can step in, is we can say, you've got to think about this. And typically when we're talking about estate planning, making any decision, even if it's not a perfect decision, is better than making no decision.
All right. Now, Bruce, I know you have some stuff to say, but you're going to have to wait just a minute here.
Ditto.
Ditto.
Planning.
All right, we're covered. Don't go anywhere, because when we get back, we're going to finish this conversation, so we'll be right back. Cheers.